Thomas Tuchel might just be finding his way out of this England job. He might just be looking for a way out of this England job, because when I look at the things that he's saying after costing England a ticket to the World Cup final, it blows my mind what this man is saying. Right now, I just saw another quote that he's saying the team cannot retain the ball. They don't have the DNA of a Brazilian squad or a Spanish squad or an Argentinian squad. Are you serious? For the love of God. You had a player sitting on the bench that is literally, his whole game is predicated on that idea. His whole game is literally focused on keeping the ball, creating tempo, and being press resistant. And he has done it not just in the Manchester United jersey, but also in the England jersey. And his name is flipping Kobe Mainoo. He's the person that you did not give a minute to in this World Cup. Not a minute. Now you might see him in this game against France, but I don't even really think he's going to play him. So for the love of God, if you talk about retaining the football and you have somebody that his whole focus is retaining the football, why don't you bring him? And that is not even me talking about the players that you left behind. The Adam Wharton, that his whole game is retaining the football. His whole game is being pass resistant. His whole game is always passing forward. How in the world are you going to sit down here and talk about the DNA of our team is not retaining the football? Are you not the manager? Are you not the coach? I don't know how this is going to fly. But based on the conversation, based on what we are seeing, Thomas Tuchel might not be fired because of he lost that game against Argentina. He just might lose his job because of the things that he's saying afterwards. This is the same man that said he has no regrets on what he showed in that game against Argentina. He has no regrets. That's what he said. That is mind-blowing to me. I cannot see it. Now I do understand. He is England's manager and he is not going to come out and accept that he made a mistake. However, you can say it in a different way. You can say, we would look at it and I will see what I did wrong. Or we would look at it and I can see where we went wrong. Or we would look at it and make sure that we do not repeat the situation when we have another opportunity. Give the country hope. Galvanize the team. But you did not do that. You literally threw your players under the bus for no reason. But why are we speaking like as if this is not the Thomas Tuchel that we know and love? This is a manager that absolutely, through everything where he was in PSG, fought with PSG owners, fought with them. You get me? This is the same person. I don't understand. I don't understand, man. Lord of mercy. You are winning in the 81st minute. And every single thing you do is go sit back. I truly do not understand. He is perplexing me. And it's the quotes afterwards that blow my mind. It's the quotes afterwards that blow my mind. You saw the video of Thomas Muller saying how in the world are England facing that game the way they did. How in the world? I don't understand this. You have Kobe Mainoo sitting on the bench and you truly decide that there's no way that he comes on the pitch. When you were losing your way, you bring Kobe Mainoo on. Kobe Mainoo gets the ball on the feet and passes the ball to Bellingham. Passes the ball to Elliot Anderson. Declan Rice was knackered. He was knackered. Look at this quote here. He says, I have zero regrets. We played one of the best matches, maybe the best. In what world did you play the best match? In the first half, you were the better side against Argentina. In the second half, you got the goal from Anthony Gordon. And after the first goal, everything you did after that was absolutely backwards. Absolutely backwards. Look at what Wayne Rooney said when asked about England's midfield. He said, I would go with Rice, Kobe, and Bellingham. I think in tight areas, Kobe can give you a bit of both. I think he is the only one capable of doing that in tight areas. I've been saying this thing so many times. So many times, even before this situation. I said this and nobody listened to me. I said Kobe Mainoo for this England team is better than Elliot Anderson, because Elliot Anderson is just another Declan Rice. So because Declan Rice is in the team, play Kobe Mainoo for the balance. We saw it in Euros, in the last Euros, where England was struggling at the start of the Euros. They brought on Kobe Mainoo and every single thing changed from that moment. Look at what he said here. We decided to go to a back five because the gaps were just too open, of course. Of course, the responsibility is on the coach. If it doesn't go well, it is easy to say it is wrong. I understand that. It blows my mind, bruv. The gaps were way too open. Why? Declan Rice was gassed. Elliot Anderson could not pass to save his life, and he was being tackled every single moment. You also told the team with your substitution that you should go defensive. You took Anthony Gordon, the only player that has the pace to go from this part of the 18-yard box all the way to that part of the 18-yard box in less than 7 seconds. You took him out. And brought on Ezri Freepin Konsa. Not that Ezri Konsa is a bad player, but you brought on Ezri Flippin Konsa when you needed to control the game. I need you guys to maybe look back on what Kobe Mainoo did with England against Belgium in the last competition that they had. Just think about it. Look on it. Look into it. This is a sackable offense based on what he's saying afterwards. Look at the reports here. England players were shocked by Thomas Tuchel's ultra-defensive approach that saw them dumped out of the World Cup by Argentina. Tuchel sent on Konsa, Byrne and O'Reilly to protect a 1-0 lead, a move that surprised players in the dressing room. There was belief within the squad that Argentina were there for the taking after Gordon's goal, and that they could have been hit. And they could have been hit on a counter-attack with introduction of more pace. There was surprise that it took Tuchel until 4 minutes after Argentina had gone ahead to finally throw on Marcus Rashford and Ivan Toney. Absolutely. Spot on. It is insane. It took literally 4 minutes to the end of the game to bring on Marcus Rashford. I don't understand it. It blows my mind. And this is where the gaslighting, and I hate using that word. That word absolutely feels so weird to me to say. But he literally came out before the season, before anybody could even say anything. He says, there are millions of coaches after the game. You know what to do better. What? What in the world? What in the world? Look, he says this again. He says, the journey ends here. Disappointed, so close. We got too passive after we scored. Conceded too many crosses and chances. I made offensive subs the last few games to help the players. Conceded straight away. Gaps were far too open. Went back to a back five to close the gaps, but we kept conceding crosses. We wanted to go for the second goal, but stayed in our 4-4-2. Couldn't win the ball. Couldn't keep the ball. I analyze on the pitch. I take responsibilities. No regret. The team gave everything. We were very, very close. We deserved to be 1-0 up. Played one of our better matches. Strong group. We played strong teams, lot of miles, lots of traveling, altitude, heat. We overcame every obstacle and we were very close today. Bro, all that is border dash. All that is absolutely garbage. Absolute garbage. I don't care what the situation is. Every single thing that we spoke about Southgate being is what Thomas Tuchel turned around to be in this game. Every single thing. You were paid $5 million, and I'm not even counting your pockets. I'm not one to count anybody's pockets. Good for you, man. Good for you and your family. But you were paid the big bucks to make the big decisions. If your team is not doing what you say, you take them out and you put on players to do what you say. It's as simple as that. Kobe Mainoo was there on the bench. You didn't put him. Bukayo Saka did not start, did not even come on in the semi-finals for England. It is mind-blowing. And Bukayo Saka is not the fastest, but he has more pace than Harry Kane. For the love of God, I was screaming on the top of my lungs in the 75th minute, if I'm not mistaken. Take off Harry Kane. The crosses were coming. They were pressing. There was no way Harry Kane would run the length of the pitch. He is not that guy. He is not that guy. Take him off and bring on Marcus Rashford. Take him off and bring on Ollie Watkins. Take him off. And you did not even bring on Ollie Watkins. You brought on flipping Ivan Toney. That is not even fast. He's not the fastest of guys. Ollie Watkins is the one that loves to run the channels. Every decision you made in that game absolutely sucked. Every decision. Laurie Whitwell says that Argentina game was a generational chance for a collective moment. Instead, it will linger for all the wrong reasons. For Kobe Mainoo not to get a minute at the World Cup given his technique at keeping possession, it is a waste. It truly is. It truly is. That was a waste of an opportunity. It was a waste of the hard work that Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane did to that point. It was a waste. It was a waste. Wayne Rooney says, I think the decisions Thomas Tuchel made, and we have to be honest on this, have cost us tonight. It's very simple. That was it. That right there was it. In the week leading up to England's match against Ghana, when Declan Rice was starting to struggle, Kobe Mainoo played in the central midfield alongside Elliot Anderson in training. He did. There was a feeling that he was set to feature, but Thomas Tuchel had not liked what he saw, apparently. After almost every match, Mainoo was the first player to leave the stadium and always alone with his headphones in. I don't understand what you don't love about Kobe Mainoo. I understand he's not the fastest, but Enzo Fernandez is not the fastest. Paredes is not the fastest. McAllister is not the fastest. This is a player that has played with literally two of them in the Premier League. He has played with Kobe Mainoo and with Enzo Fernandez, defeated Enzo Fernandez, defeated McAllister twice this season. I don't understand what you needed to see to not put Kobe Mainoo in this game. That is the one that blows my mind. I don't even want anyone to come out here and say Kobe Mainoo wouldn't have changed anything. If you think that, you don't watch football as often as you should. You don't watch football as often as you should. Because if you are 1-0 up and you see that two players on this Argentina defense has yellow card, the two centre backs, and you are absolutely losing the possession battle, because the moment Gordon scored, the possession went from around 50-50 or 60-40 all the way to 12 for England and 88 for Argentina. If you look at that situation, you know you are losing the ball. Instead of you to all of a sudden give up and say, okay, we will give you the ball, but then we will defend. How about you get the ball back? Because the best type of defense is offense. And if Argentina doesn't have the ball, Argentina doesn't score. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Look at the decisions that Pep Guardiola makes when he needs to win a game 1-0. He doesn't take off his attacking players. He brings on Bernardo Silva. He brings on Nico Gonzalez. He brings on Rodri. He brings on Phil Foden. Players that can hold the ball. Not him bringing on Nathan Ake. Not him. He doesn't bring on John Stones. He does not. That right there is what made them lose this game. It's simple. Simon Stone said this. He said, knowing how good Kobe Mainoo is at playing in tight spaces and progressing the ball up the pitch, it feels a total waste. He didn't feature for a single minute in this campaign when England only played well in fleeting moments. The Mexico win was fabulously defiant, but overall, I didn't see the improvement in game management Thomas Tuchel was brought in for. It's spot on. It is spot on. It is spot on. I can't see any other situation. Touchline says, I decided to go to a back five because there were too many gaps and Argentina was winning every single header. How do they not win every single header? If they don't get the ball to cross it. If they don't get the ball to cross it. To be honest with you, it is quite simple. The moment Thomas Tuchel lost this game was the moment he brought on Dan Burn and O'Reilly. Not because these players are not good players, but because he had already told his defenders, he had already told his players, we are going defensive with the substitutions that he made. That was it. That right there was it. Samuel Lockers then ties in, and I'm not a big fan of Samuel Lockers, but this is what he said. He says, never expected a coach as supposedly sophisticated as Thomas Tuchel to be reduced to such agricultural tactics. I've never seen anybody use agricultural in football before, but to such agricultural tactics at that level. Charles Hughes stuff. That's what he said. England had a deep enough talent pool to see the game out productively, but their approach after scoring was backwards. It's quite simple. It's quite simple. In fact, let's even go further. Let's go further and absolutely say a little bit more. Mark Goldbridge. He says, I have backed Tuchel from day one, but the trust is gone now. I've never been so appalled and embarrassed by a tactical approach to such an important game. Sent us crashing out to our biggest rival like cowards. Get him gone. That's what he said. Gary Neville also comes out and says, he, Thomas Tuchel, didn't play Kobe Mainoo. Not to bring on Mainoo to try and get a grip of the game and not bringing on Saka or Rashford for some pace was a mistake. I think he will regret that. But he will know that and reflect on that himself. It's simple. It's just simple. Pretty simple to me. But the truth about this situation is that England have a question to ask. Do you let Thomas Tuchel take the team all the way to 2028? Do you let him do that? That's the question, because now you gave him more money, you gave him improved terms, and you gave him more years. It's up to you now. It's literally up to you. This is Jürgen Klopp's what he said about Thomas Tuchel. Klopp says, on Tuchel's performance against Argentina, he said, people always speak after the game like coaching is easy. Like you just choose attack or defend, and that's it. It doesn't work like this. Football is much more complex. I see the criticism of Tuchel for trying to defend a 1-0 against. But let me tell you something. If he didn't do that, if he kept pushing forward and they concede, the same people would be saying, why didn't he control the game? Why didn't he defend the lead? In knockout football, whatever decision you make, someone will criticize you. I'm not saying every decision is perfect, but you have to understand the logic behind it. Managing a game at that stage is never simple. Look, Thomas Tuchel is a good coach. He's a great coach. Jürgen Klopp is an even greater coach. However, I disagree in this situation. I agree on some sorts because it's never simple. It's literally a chess game. It's a chess game. And if you start running in a chess game, you will get your queen taken so quick you would not be able to move your knight. It's as simple as that. That is how simple it is. I understand that managing a game at this level is not simple, and I've never been at that level to say that it was. However, we can watch football. We have seen it. Jürgen Klopp himself will not do this. Jürgen Klopp himself will not do this. And I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. Because you can control the game not by only defending your post. It worked against Mexico, but you cannot allow Lionel Messi, who is arguably the greatest of all time, to have 30 minutes of literally just throwing the ball in the back post, and you do not do anything to stop it. You do not have any opportunity you do not even bring anybody to put the fear of God in Argentina just in case we get a counter-attack. He did not do it until the last 4 minutes. So Klopp, spare me that. That just sounds like mumbo jumbo about protecting another manager. That's what it sounds like. Thomas Tuchel on a World Cup third place game against France. None of our players and none of the French players want to play this match. They want to play in the final. We gave everything to achieve that. Everyone plays to win the World Cup, but that's how it is. We have one less day of recovery than France, but we will do it with professionalism. That's what he said about that. That's what he said about that. I can promise you, he'll probably play Kobe Mainoo in this game. He will probably play Kobe Mainoo in this game. He will. It's just mind-blowing to me. Like, look at this. Look, this is the one that blew my mind. Thomas Tuchel speaking to Sky after England's World Cup exit. Ball possession is maybe not in our English DNA like it is in the Spanish or Argentina or Brazil DNA. Let's let that sink in. The manager of England just said ball possession is maybe not in our English DNA like it is in the Spanish or Argentinian, Brazilian DNA. He did not lie about the way English football is being played. We do not have the way Spain plays football. It's not as tiki or taka. It's not as keep the possession. But you know the funny thing? Manchester City plays the same way. They play with the same system. They play football. Arsenal Football Club plays football with possession. Manchester United under Michael Carrick with Kobe Mainoo played possession. Even though they still had the whatever flanks going, the bombing flanks and the counter-attacking threat. That also just adds to what you have. It doesn't subtract. It does not. These are professional football players. They can hold the ball. They can pass it. Elliot Anderson had most progressive passes in the Premier League this season. Declan Rice understand what sideways passes are. Jude Bellingham, yes, might not be the best number 10 in terms of keeping the ball, but he's no dummy. He plays for Real Madrid, for crying out loud. That right there is worse than what he did. It just might be. It just might be. It just might be. It's mind blowing to me. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But you know the funny thing too, you had the opportunity to bring Phil Foden, and you did not. You did not. Another player that can keep the ball. Look at what Simon Jordan said. Simon Jordan of TalkSport. He says, I think the FA should fire him. There are more reasons to not have Tuchel than to keep him there. Simon Jordan fumes at Thomas Tuchel managerial performances and insists the FA should sack him. This is the staunch defender of Thomas Tuchel. A staunch defender. It is insane. It truly is. This is how much it has gotten bad. This is how bad it truly has gotten. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.